Okay, I have a couple of thoughts about here on style of overnights, and I guess to me it's boiled down to two things here. I read this Woodcraft and Camping by Nesmith, published in the 1800s, back in the day when you had a hatchet and wood was plentiful, and you used wood like we do modern day polyester and tents and all that kind of stuff, and how we use modern day stoves. He had a rifle, he could shoot his game, all that. Of course, that's not practical in most places in the country nowadays. Of course, there's also the backpacking through through hiking style, where you're just taking everything on your back, including your shelter and of course food and water, depending on where you are. And you would never take the bushcrafting type gear that Dave from Wilderness Outfitters and Bushcraft on Fire and places like that are talking about. So what I've settled on here is a kit that weighs about 14 pounds. Does not include any sleeping gear, includes minimum shelter, but is enough for me to go in, for a couple weeks at a time and survive, assuming one thing: firewood is plentiful, water is somewhat plentiful, and food is not going to be taken via snares or rifle or fished for. You're going to put it on your back. So, I'd take as much food as I would need for 2 weeks, pound and a half a day of rice, beans, oatmeal, dried fruit, jerky, all that kind of dehydrated stuff, some food powder for vitamins and minerals. I use Dr. Ben Kim's greens, so I get some green powder, all those things for 2 weeks. I could haul 25 pounds of food, no resupply. Could be used in a bug in, bug out situation, but I would still take this stuff with me. I'm not having the goal of a trail hike, where I'm trying to get from point A to point B, like doing 35 miles in a 3-day weekend, carrying whatever on my back, including my tent and all my sleeping gear and all that. So depending on the weather, of course, my sleeping gear kit would change between a wool blanket, a sleeping bag, maybe both, who knows. But for 14 pounds of gear, this is what I would take. It's my essential kit. Again, it's not a kit where if I couldn't make a fire, a lot of this stuff wouldn't do me any good. But I'm assuming I can make a fire and I can get water, and I'm hauling, probably 25 pounds of food on my back plus this stuff right here. So let me go over this real quickly. Stainless, there's no cooking supplies here other than kind of what I'm showing. So no stove, no Trangia, no alcohol, because I'd have to carry all that. Stainless steel cup and the Guy at Designs bottle right there. Clothing: skull cap, wool liners, and leather gloves. Show this in case it was out of frame. Stainless steel cup and Guy at Design bottle. Extra pair of merino wool socks in addition to the ones I'm wearing. Again, clothing is somewhat absent from this kit because I'm going to be pretty much wearing all the clothing I need, other than maybe an extra jacket and that kind of stuff. I will, clean things on the trail, in rivers with soap when stuff gets dirty. Headlamp, certainly kind of a, this would last 100 hours on 3-trip AA batteries on low, so that'd probably take 3 extra AA batteries. My Leatherman Juice, small multi-tool, good enough for me. Sharpening stone, some lip balm, little photon LED, little leather lace right there. Could be used for a lot of things. You dig a trowel, not just for the cat hole type stuff, but this would be digging around in a fire pit. I would lace this to a wooden stick with that leather thong right there and use it as, to move coals around, dig little holes, things like that. Some ultra concentrated soap. You're talking a drop here to clean dishes and to wash out some clothes, a drop or two. Microfleece towel. Again, I'm trying to reduce bulk, but this would be something I'd take because, if you're washing yourself in a stream, a bandana just doesn't really cut it. You need some better towel. The saw, the Gerber saw with 2 blades, probably get an extra blade for that. I'm going to take some TP, maybe this isn't 2 or 3 weeks worth, you know, but it would get me going. It might take a little extra. Some hand sanitizer and baking soda for my all-purpose care of teeth and everything else. Got a little sawn-off toothbrush in my EDC kit. Some paracord here. This is 50 feet. I got two 25-foot hanks in my other kit, you know, that I'd be taking in my ribs front pack. The Becker BK2 Kabar, you know, what I call my survival knife for batoning wood. Heavy, 1 pound, you know, not a fine cutting blade, but certainly well worth it. Won't break. I'm going to take a Grand Trunk hammock. I'm going to sleep off the ground if possible, so I'm going to take this hammock. Does not fit in my ribs front pack. Got a contractor bag poly tarp there, or 3 mil 55 gallon contractor bag that I can use as a tarp. I'm going to take a silk sleeping bag liner. You know, this wouldn't be good around a fire necessarily, but again, it's just something to cover yourself up with. You know, if I have to wrap myself in an emergency blanket, this will go inside of it. Just a lot more comfortable. A little bit of bulk, no weight. The Ben's Backwoods tarp that you've seen on a lot of my videos here. 5x7, 4 grommets. Going to take that. Really going to get some laughs, I'm sure. Here's a shortwave AM/FM radio. Does not have the weather channel on it, the NOA alert, but this lasts along on 2 AA batteries. And again, if you're out for an extended period of time, you're going to want to know what's happening and you know, just a little bit of company. So I'm taking it. Doesn't fit in my ribs front pack. You can probably lash this on, just a thin Insulite pad. You know, again, keep myself off the ground. A little bit of bulk, not as much as most pads, no weight whatsoever. So that's kind of the basis right here. Okay, everything that you see here either fits on my person or in my ribs front pack, right? Here's the ribs front pack. It gets bloated up. Got about, you know, 10 pounds in this thing when it's all loaded up, but this is all on my person. There's a couple other things inside this ribs front pack that I'm going to show you, but just to let you know, just about all this stuff right here would fit in this ribs front pack. So again, no food, no water, no sleeping gear, but I'm ready to go. And then in my day pack or my backpack, I can put as much food and water as I possibly need to carry, as well as maybe some kind of a sleeping gear like a sleeping bag or a wool blanket. Okay, like I said, here's the ribs front pack. A couple other things that I got on here. Carabiner, climbing weight locking carabiner with some paracord, the Strike Force, flint and steel, little razor blade there, magnifying glass, and Vaseline soaked cotton balls. Frost Mora 840 mg knife. Again, my Becker BK2 is just not fine enough blade for, you know, fine tasks. So this goes with me too. Little thermometer on this side. My first aid kit, USNERDOC style. My EDC, which has lighter and toothbrush and some Advil and some things like that in there. And some more paracord and a couple of click bars. Alright, so that's everything that we got set right there. Now again, in addition to this, I'm going to take a day pack or a backpack with as much food as I possibly need. It could be 10, 15, 20, 25 pounds if I'm going out with a couple people. They're not able to carry a lot. I'm going to consider that I have enough for basic shelter, and you know, we can make some shelter, find some shelter. I'm not taking a tent, but everybody's going to have to carry some kind of sleeping gear, and everybody's going to have to carry, you know, a portion of the food, and everybody's going to carry their own clothing, you know, but the rest of the tools, so to speak, or the infrastructure, hopefully I could handle with the skills I'm practicing or the gear I got with me. Okay, one additional item I forgot was my Equinox Silnai poncho. Of course, I'm going to take a poncho for myself, and hopefully other people have rain gear for themselves. This could be erected into a tarp if I needed, you know, or some kind of emergency shelter. But I want to keep myself as dry as possible.